Good morning, Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series and Warren Buffett, I think. I don't know. Uh, I got my trusty asset management hat on today. Um, I brought my coffee with me to Omaha as well as my bookshelf. So this should be fun. New episode of Find That Flip. I did not prepare anything for this, so this is raw and unfiltered from me. Your host today, Harrison Bonner. Alex took over for me yesterday while I was dealing with another tenant situation, and so I'm here today. So one for the price of two today. So thanks for joining. Normally we prepare for these for at least 2 minutes, but today we got none. So let's maybe look at. We actually put in our first offer on one of the deals we found from Find That Flip. We didn't get it. We thought that the asking price was the good number, but it was one of the deals we looked at last week in Framingham. And Framingham is Boston Metro. You're kind of back in the big leagues. It's incredibly competitive, and I'd be interested to see what it went for. I thought it needed about $200,000 in rehab. It could have been a really, really pretty property, and was in pretty good condition. But to bring it to like a $900,000+ level, it needed a lot of work, although not impossible. By any means, and really thought that this like historic colonial, it wasn't like a colonial, but it was like late 1800s property that it had a lot of potential that you really needed to uncover. And if you didn't do it, if you half-assed it, it was just like going to be totally unjust for the property. And to do it right, you're going to spend about $200,000. So our offer was $500,000. We didn't get it. That's all good, but it was fun. And we put in our first offer on a property from Find That Flip. Maybe one of you assholes beat us to it. I don't know. Just kidding. But let's look for some more single families. Single families are kind of where. Actually, you know what? Should we look at a condo conversion? Let's look at a condo conversion. Kind of your next step up from a single family deal. If you're doing fix and flip type of deals in Boston Metro, and the closer you are to the city, the more common this is. But you will, there's a lot of multifamily property being like, a 2-family, 3-family, maybe even like 4 units, but 2s and 3s are the most common. And they are effectively, it's like 2 apartments and 1 house, right? And historically, the entire property would be owned by a single person. And it started, I think, as like kind of family shared housing. So families could buy 1 house, and then, the sister and their family could live in 1 unit, the parents could live in another, and then the brother and their family could live in another, right? That sort of multi-generational living in a multifamily. In this example, like a 3. But, I think as that became a little less common, you would still see the entire property be sold to an owner occupant, but they would live in 1 unit and then rent out the other 2 to tenants. And as a way to sort of offset their living expenses, which is a great first real estate investment strategy to do. I tell anyone who's like, hey, I want to get into real estate investing, I don't really know where to start, I'm thinking about buying a single family to flip, especially if you're young and you don't own a property yet, and you want to be a developer, go buy a multifamily that you can house hack, something that's kind of beat up that you can live in. You can paint it. You can do the floors. You can do the cabinets. You can do it little by little. You're not going to care as much about the condition when you're young, because you should be living in shitty conditions. You don't deserve nice things when you're 25, despite what most of the 25-year-olds out there think. You don't deserve nice things when you're 25. You haven't earned it. You haven't earned shit. But if you were able to go out and buy a multifamily that you can add some value to, that you can rent out the other units to offset your living expenses and decrease your monthly cost of living, that is your best first exposure to house flipping, real estate development, multifamily ownership, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. That is the best first way into it because it will give you the experience of buying the asset, financing it, working with an agent, landlord-tenant relationships, property improvements, like what is a plumbing shutoff? What does it do? How does it function? Oh, my heat's not working. What does my boiler do? How does this thing function? These are things that you need to know if you're going to be in the business. And it's a really low leverage way for you to get some exposure to those things. So buy a multifamily, house hack it if you're young and you want to get into the business. But let's look for condo conversions. So it has become very common as, these properties are continually like they're held for a time period, they're used, and then they're sold. Typically, if it hasn't been like slowly improved upon over like the 20 years that it was owned by the prior owner, as an example, then a property may be, after a couple owners, maybe like 40 years dated, right? And now it's just like not up to the quality that you would want to see in, a newer rental property or a new property that you're going to buy. Like this building is now, it's too old, it's too distressed, it's beat up. This is fallen behind. It's now a rehab building. It's much less common now for people to want to buy buildings and be owner occupants, especially if it is like, fully updated, because the cost of the acquisition for the owner occupant is just so expensive. But what is very common is people still want to live in these cities and want to live in these units. But what they're doing instead now is they're just buying their single unit. So they don't have to be a landlord. They can still get the high quality they want. And they own a condo unit in like a 2 or 3 family building. In the process of buying a 2 unit or a 3 unit that's really beat up, rehabbing the whole thing, and then doing the condo conversion documents that you need to do to then legally sell them as individual units within a larger property. This is called a condo conversion. So this was sort of our next step up as we were, we did single families and then we started doing condo conversions. It's kind of the next step up in like the real estate development ladder, I guess. So let's look at that. There's my opinion for the day, of which I have many. Let's see, what town do we want to look in? Let's look in. Let's look in. Oh, we're in Boston, but I need to do like a sub. How do you do sub town? There we go. There we go. I'm going to look in Dorchester, Boston's biggest neighborhood. 24 multifamilies on market. I have no idea if any of these are deals. Let's find out. 2 family for $650,000. Jesus Christ. And for these, if you're going to do a condo conversion, you have got to fully gut the building. Chances are it probably hasn't been touched in a really long time. And the, your heating infrastructure is all really old. Your plumbing infrastructure is really old. Your electrical system is really dated. Everything sort of functions. But if you want to put in new, if you want to get $600 per square foot on a condo sellout, which I haven't underwritten or looked at these deals in a while, but I'm kind of guessing we're in that range. If you want to achieve that sort of value on the back end of your project, you've got to do the whole thing. You can't, you know, take something that's livable and then paint it and put some nice cabinets in and put in some new lights and call it a day. Especially if it's, if it's really distressed, you want to create like a really, more modern floor plan, not just like an open floor plan, which is sort of the modern expectation, especially in a condo, which I understand. I think open floor plans are a little tired, is my opinion. There's another one. We could use some more room differentiation, especially in large single family. Like, why do you need a fucking 50 by 30 room? That's your kitchen and living room. Makes no sense. You want some separation. You want your kitchen, which is huge. It's bigger than half these fucking condo units. And then you want your living room. You don't need your kitchen and living room in a 5,000 square foot single family. But in a condo, when you're working with like 1,200 square feet, makes a little bit more sense. You don't want to feel like cramped. I'm kind of a big guy, so it's easy for me to feel cramped. But oftentimes to achieve the floor plan that you want, you've got to take down walls. You may have to restructure the building. You may have to move staircases, which means you're definitely restructuring the building. So all these things that you're trying to achieve end up leading you to, I've got to gut this entire unit down to the studs and just, turn this building into a shell and redo everything, which is definitely my most preferred strategy. So that means the worse off condition the property's in, the better, because you're going to be able to get it for the least amount of money. And then you have that much more room to, for your construction expenses. So these are listed cheapest. And they're okay. No interior photos in there, so no idea what that's looking like. All right, 2 family. So this might not be quite distressed enough. Maybe it is. You could tell it's an older floor plan, but it's not really distressed enough. I want like really beat up and ugly. Um, this one is in a little bit better condition, so the acquisition price point is just going to be a little bit higher than I would like it to be. 750,000 bucks for a 2 family is way more than I want to pay, but let's see. Spacious floor plan, 2,600 square feet. It's pretty big. Let's see. This is a 3 unit. Yeah, this ain't it. That ain't it. 2 family for over $1 million. Kiss my fucking ass. Oh, price drop? No way. Oh, this is nice though. I spoke too soon. That's all right. I deserve it. But this is like a condo quality building. What the fuck? Come on. Hold, please. Where was I? Right here. So this is like a condo quality building, maybe down on the outside. But inside, this is like sort of condo-ish quality finishes. They want over $1 million for this, or over 500,000 per unit. And typically you're going to see something in this condition being sold as individual units. I'm kind of surprised they're not trying to. Usually you can get more per unit that way. But, right now this is just this is just a 2 family. So this is definitely not what we're looking for. If we're looking for distressed. Motivated sellers. I love this brick. Like, is this Philadelphia style? I can't remember. I'm probably wrong there. But I love this sort of like large brick 2 family. All two families going for $1 million. That's wild. All right. So a lot of times what you'll see is these deals. This is like your classic triple decker right here. Yeah, this is much better maintained. This is like a great rental property. Um, seems to be in pretty good condition, not nearly distressed enough for us to buy it and gut it to the studs. Not even close, but yeah, same with this one here. I think I've seen this one before. This is your classic triple decker. All right, let's try to find one to underwrite. As I was kind of saying before my mind trailed off, was that a lot of times in the city of Boston, you'll see these sellers that want, crazy high numbers for their two family, but it's sort of under the pretense that, okay, even though this is distressed, like where was I here? Maybe this one, you know, this isn't super. I mean, it's a little bit distressed, not crazy, but it's kind of they're kind of under the pretense that, oh, a developer is going to buy this, and what they're going to do is they're going to take this through the variance and zoning process, and they're going to try to get a third unit added. So a lot of times, what I would do here is I would come, my proposition would be to take off this third floor, continue up with the same, exterior facade, or not facade. Facade is just the front, but sort of the same exterior um, dimensions. If my photo can load, there we go, and carry that up to like the third and possibly fourth floor. Maybe I depends on the neighborhood, right? Like you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb because you're going to have to get this. You're going to have to get support from the neighborhood association. And there's a chance that if you try to change the use of this 2-family to a 3-family or a 4-family, they won't accept it. They will not support it, and you will not get approved. So you never want to buy something with the expectation that is what's going to happen. But a lot of these sellers are pricing their 2-families in a way, that sort of reflects like that's possibly the developer's expectation. So we'll just do this one. We'll talk about it a couple of ways. I'm going to do it just as a 2-unit condo conversion. And then I'll talk a little bit more about maybe what the numbers could look like if we were to go up a full third floor. Or actually I'd probably just like dormer this entire third floor, and it wouldn't be my favorite design, but it would be a more cost-effective way of achieving a full height third floor all the way across, and you leave the existing, roof lines and such. But all right, let's talk about it. So 707 Washington Street. Where is this? This is in the hood. I can't see the comments. If you're commenting, shout. No comments. All right. Just kidding. I took a look. 707 Washington Street. All right. Dorchester is one of those neighborhoods where it's really important to know your street. But actually, no, this is in a pretty good area. We did a project, a permanent deal years ago on Burt Street, close to the Ashmont T. I would say, this is definitely a condo. Because your question is this a rental neighborhood or is this a possible condo neighborhood? You want to make sure that people are buying condos at your price point that you need in the area. So looks like a busier street. Oops. Yeah, Washington, I believe, is more of a main drag. No parking. Oh, wait. Or is this a driveway? I thought this said no parking. Yeah, it says no parking. Maybe it's for the other house. Oh, but that doesn't look right. Let's see. Da-da-da. Full basement, gas heat cooking, maintenance-free vinyl siding. Yeah, yeah. Exterior porches, flat level backyard. Needs work. Yeah, it needs a little work. Short walk to Shawmut Ave. So we have a 1-bedroom on the first floor. Interesting. I mean, if this thing is, what's our square footage? 2,600 square feet. Probably looking at least 900, at least 1,000 square foot on the first floor, would be my guess. A 1-bed, 1-bath sounds a little small. Then you have a 4-bed on levels 2 and 3. 4-bed, 1-bath. So probably my goal, if I'm developing this, is I want to achieve a 2-bed, 2-bath on floor 1, and a 3-bed, 2-bath on floor 2. 2 and 3. They want 750. It's been on for 27 days. So again, no parking, but it looked like there was parking there. So I'm gonna go with no parking, even though it kind of looks like this is a driveway. Oh no. What the fuck? Oh no, I think this is just a gate, like a walkway. Yeah, that would be wild. Oh yeah, there's no curb cut. I see. See? These are the things you learn when you take a little bit of time. There's no curb cut. This is just a walkway, like for your trash, backyard access. I was gonna say that is wildly tight for a car. But all right. So now we need to find comps, right? What are condo units selling for in this neighborhood? Now, I'm not going to take the time to put together a full budget for this, but you're a self-performing GC for, feel free to hate me in the comments, but or tell me I'm wrong. But self-performing GC, I think construction costs per square foot, development costs per square foot, probably about $150 to $175 per square foot. Maybe on the lower end of that range because you have, you're going to have a different cost per square foot if you have 3 units in 2,600 square feet than you do if you have 2 units in 2,600 square feet. Now it's the same amount of floorings. It's the same amount of flooring square footage, right? Same amount of drywall ish, but it's only 2 panels. It's only 2 kitchens. It's only 4 bathrooms opposed to 6 bathrooms or 6 kitchens or 6 electrical panels, right? So there's going to be a difference in cost per square foot in a 2 unit versus a 3 unit at the same square footage. So my guess is that, yeah, you're 150 to 175 per square foot range. So now we need to look at condos. I'm going to keep the multifamily on because I kind of want to see what other multifamilies there are. It's sold. Then I could probably go a half mile. Boston's pretty dense. Yeah. So between condos and multifamilies in the last 6 months within a half mile, I've got 35 results. Let's take a peek. 1 bed, 1 bath condo, 450 square feet. Oh, this is new. It's not 298,000 though. It's a condo market, but most of Boston is, I'd say. $410 for this one. Wow. These are 1 beds, but see, this is the quality you kind of expect to put out. Let's go to top of market. 3 families sold for $890. Okay, it's good to know. 2 families sold for $935. Lord have mercy. Big acreage, a lot of acreage. That's probably how we got here. So someone's going to try to develop this into a larger building. That is my guess. And they have parking. 2 family under agreement, 920. This is a big 2 family though, or over 3,000 square feet. This is the one we're looking at. 2 families sold, 735. This is their comp that they're using for their 750 list price. All right. So condos. These look like new construction. Not exactly a comp. Oh, look at that, 74 Burt Street. Yeah, we permitted and sold the building. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet. No, new construction. Again, we need to make sure we have no parking, right? 2 parking, 2 parking, 2 parking. No parking. 2 parking. 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,100 square feet. No parking. All right, comps are not all over the place, but I'm trying not to bog you guys down in this. So 2-bed, 1-bath, 520. Let's try 3-bed, 2-bath. So 665. That's 3-bed, 1-bath. 3-bed, 2-bath. It's just 2 parking. They want 695. We've got no parking, and in the city of Boston, parking is very valuable. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1 parking, 756. So this is probably a little out of reach for us, but we're probably, 6. This is a much smaller 3-bed, 2-bath, so maybe like that 700 price range for a large 3-bed, 2-bath. And so it's 700, and then I'm assuming I'm going to be able to achieve a 2-bed, 2-bath, right? Probably like 500 at most. 2-bed, 1-bath, 520. Okay, this is a little bit of a nicer building, I'd say. But the quality would aim to be in this range. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 500 and 700 just to keep moving this along. So we're looking at about a $1.2 million in value on the back end. And if this thing is 2,600 square feet, even at $150 a square foot, that's $390,000 in renovation expenses. So let's round that up to $400,000. So if I'm getting 1.2 for the building, remember I'm just keeping this at 2 units, and I want to be in this for 70% of its after repair value. It's 840 minus 400,000 to build this, and yeah, you need to buy this for 440,000. So that is why I said that most people will tell you that 2 families that don't pencil, as they say. They can't make them financially viable, which I totally understand. And Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to buy this for more than 500,000 if I'm going to gut it. And let me go back to our subject property and uh, turn it into two large condo units. Um, that's just kind of the way it is. Now, if I know this neighborhood, maybe I've done a project in this neighborhood before. I'm really confident in being able to convert this from 2 to 3 because, like I said, maybe I'm going to dormer up here on the sides all the way back. The layout works, and I'm going to turn this from a 2 to a 3. This is going to be 3,000 square feet, 3 2-bed, 2-bath condos at 1,000 square foot apiece. Now my property value is looking more like maybe like 1.5, 1.6, even at 1.6 times 70%. That's 1.12, and then probably 450,000 in construction expenses. That gets me to a $670,000 purchase price, which is a little bit more in line. So that's probably what I think most of the time the strategy is. That's why this other person was able to achieve 735,000 on the sale price. Or maybe this property was in good enough condition where someone said, I'm just going to lightly renovate this. I'm going to put maybe 100,000 into this per unit. And I'm just going to rent this and hold on to it. So there's a number of different strategies, but if you're going to do a condo conversion, this is why, if it's uninhabitable, if it's condemned, and you're getting the lowest possible price that you could on the acquisition side, that's what's going to make this viable. Not something that's just kind of a little ugly. But you've got you need like a big window of value add, whether that is zoning and variance approval to add a third unit in this case, or if that is like just a giant construction line item because like this building is uninhabitable and it is a 1 out of 10 and you're going to take it to a 10 out of 10. You need a situation like that, and also a really motivated seller. And if something like that comes on market and it's marketed at a fair price, they're going to get like 10 plus offers in any of these neighborhoods, which is kind of why we lost out on that building in Framingham. Like I said, but that's okay. So this is how we underwrite a condo conversion. And the competitiveness of this market is one of the reasons that, we don't do a lot of deals in Boston anymore. Not that we would never do them again, but unless you just have a huge amount of cash to put into it, of your own cash, if you're leveraging as much as you possibly can, you're going to get eaten alive by interest because a project like this is at minimum of 12 months, if not more, like 24 months if you need to go through like a zoning and permitting phase. So if you're going to own it through that, ideally maybe you put it under agreement and it's contingent on zoning and permitting approval. But that's tough to get sellers to do. So these are the reasons that we stick to now the projects we can execute on really quickly, we can run and gun on, and our basis is lower from the start. We can, in our market, we're buying multiple units for we're buying 2 to 10 units for somewhere in the range of like $30,000 to $60,000 per unit. Way different market than this. But for what we're doing right now, much easier to navigate and much a market that we can act more quickly on. So that's our Find That Flip for today. Thanks for listening to my opinions. Feel free to disagree with me, and just remember that I do not care. But have a great rest of your Wednesday. I've been waking up in the middle of the night thinking that I'm always a day ahead. Like I woke up today and thought it was Thursday. Today is Wednesday. Enjoy your day. I know I have to go do some real work, but join us tomorrow. You should get 2 for the price of 1 tomorrow instead of 1 for the price of 2. So thanks for checking in. See you guys later.